What is happening, YouTube? This video is not going to be a typical post-game video. It's just going to be my general opinion about the Clippers, how we've been playing for the past 2 weeks, and it's been pretty abysmal. All right, we had some solid wins. We beat the Orlando Magic, um, and then other than that, we just beat teams that are way less competitive, like the Charlotte Hornets and the Portland Trailblazers. But we had some very glaring losses that really is a head scratcher. One of the games we got blown out by the Philadelphia 76ers. That is without um Embiid and pretty much the core. The best player was like Cameron Payne out of all the people was the one that is torching the Clippers. And last game we lost to the Sacramento Kings. Um, Clippers offense, it just looked pretty awful. Um, it's like so many ISO ball. Um, and one of the biggest problems of the Clippers is I feel like the way how Russell Westbrook is being managed. Um, he's playing too little minutes. He only played 6 minutes in the first half, and when he actually played, he actually, is really reliable. Very good at driving to the basket, brings energy. And if you watch the Clippers between Harden running the ball and Russell Westbrook running the ball, um, when Harden runs the ball, it's pretty much ISO. He just dribbles till the clock goes and he would just chuck up a shot. If it's in, it's amazing. If it's not in, it's abysmal because you have no ball movement. Lack of, um, you know, the ball just does not move around. When Russell Westbrook runs the ball, the offense goes a lot quicker. Russell Westbrook, he would always try to drive to the basket as fast as possible, or he would move the ball around. And I think I prefer to let Russell Westbrook get the starting spot. Honestly, like obviously it's probably not going to happen, but I just wish, like, if not getting the starting spot, I believe his minutes should at least be bumped to like a cool 26 to 30 minutes, like around those range. I prefer, like, if he could start, that'd be way better because then the Clippers offense will be so amazing. And then, of course, Harden, he could come off, like, play the Russell Westbrook role and just get some buckets when needed, I guess. But a guy like Russell Westbrook, the offense goes super quick. Um, Harden, he does get some assists, nice assists, but the offense is just slow. And Russell Westbrook, he plays a lot better defense than James Harden, and that's one. Honestly, that's like this. You could arguably say it's like the sole problem with the Clippers. If Russell Westbrook gets utilized more, if he runs the ball, and like and also of course plays more minutes, I think the Clippers would be in a lot better shape. And of course, when we lost to the Philadelphia 76ers, when the Clippers was at home, Russell Westbrook was not playing. I think Russell that game highlighted how important Russell Westbrook is to the Clippers, and I feel he should not be underestimated. Russell Westbrook, he may not be doing those fancy dribbles like Kyrie Irving or knock threes like Steph Curry, but he helps you win games. Um, he makes like he's what you want in the game of basketball. You get a lot of ball movement, you get a lot of energy, and especially when it's dire needs, when it's playoff times, when things are on the line. Um, it's the live by the three, die by the three. Russell Westbrook can balance it. He's the guy that always does well driving to the rim, and he's like the perfect balance because pretty much when Harden is playing and when Russ is sitting, everybody just jacking up threes or just jacking up jump shots. Like, nah, man. Like, gotta try to have some type of balance. You know what I'm saying? So that's like one of the major soul problems. And just to kind of like now, I'm gonna just try to focus on like talk about the more minor problems, I guess. Um, But first of all, just want to talk about some other players. Kawhi Leonard, shout out to you. Paul George, shout out to you for the most part. I know he has some off games. Harden, he got to lock in, man. Um, Defense especially has to lock in. Offense, got to try to play faster. His playmaking is really talented, but he just plays so slow. Like, move the ball around, brother. Like, don't just dribble till the clock goes down so fast and just um throw like a a laser dart pass that would, you know, I don't know how to probably properly describe it, but it would just, go wrong. It's just when Harden when Harden like runs the ball, he got to try to play faster. He has a talent, so it's just better if he could just play faster like how Russell Westbrook does, and at least play some defense. And Zubac, shout out to Zubac. He's been playing out of his mind. Um, he brings the defense that we need in in the paint. Plumlee, he really got to step it up. Plumlee's just getting abused. Um, Tice, um, on and off. He's kind of like a tweener, but he does the job when needed. Norman Powell, shout out to him. That man's hitting buckets. Especially the much needed threes. Amir Coffee, he can have he has some solid moments, but then of course other games he would be a non-factor. Terrence Mann, uh, Terrence Mann, he's had some better games, but of course he'd have some off games. Um, you know, he's a solid role player. Who else? And then of course PJ Tucker, he he's been getting some runs lately. And every once in a while, he has one of those games that he has a very solid game. He hustles and all that. But other than that, I don't think the way how basketball is being played right now, I don't think it really fits him because, um, he's more on the slower side. Um, Offensively, he's it'd be like a 4-on-5 because he's not like the best shooter, but every once in a while, when it falls in, um that that's what he would be useful for. But other than that, he doesn't really contribute too much on the offensive end. Um, he, like when it would be like a guy like Nicholas Batum, even though when he's not scoring, he would like move the ball a lot better. I feel like when Tucker is playing, occasionally he could do that, but other than that, um, he doesn't he does not do what a guy like Nicholas Batum could do. Um, Palu's rotation against the Sacramento Kings, though, um, other than him mismanaging Russell Westbrook minutes, um, I think he's getting somewhere. I cannot say he's doing a good job because he's not playing Russell Westbrook enough minutes, and he's still, um, I would say, giving Harden so much minutes. But he actually incorporated Brandon Boston Jr. in the rotations when Kawhi Leonard's out, that's one step to the right direction because Brandon Boston Jr. He's another guy that I'm starting to notice that he gets misused. Um, I felt like Brandon Boston Jr. He's he falls in the victim of a lot of younger players. And what coaches do with a lot of younger players, they tend to do this mistake. They tend to like force them to sit in the corner and just shoot, even though it's not their game. A guy like Brandon Boston Jr., it's definitely not his game for sure. Like he's more of the type of guy who gets buckets, which means let him create his own shot. He's not the type of guy who would just wait at the 3 point line and just shoot. I think when Brandon Boston gets the ball, I think Ty Lue needs to let him just create his own shots, let him create his own mid range or drive to the basket. And I think his contribution will be seen a lot more often. But I do like the rotations of including Brandon Boston Jr. instead of PJ Tucker. With all due respect for PJ, because PJ, the game versus the Bucks was pretty solid, but other than that, Pacers games was definitely not it. Um, Especially when a guy who's like more switchable like a Pascal Siakam, he would have a field day. But Brandon Boston Jr., his defense is more consistent. Um, he could guard 1 to 3, and he could guard the perimeter pretty solidly. Um, and even once in a while, he's pretty solid in rebounding. The Bucks game, um, when everybody was hurt, or at least when Kawhi was hurt, his Brandon Boston's rebounding was 5 rebounds, I believe. So, he is definitely showing like some of the some of the things that I've been saying about him, but I would love him to have one of those games that is like a nail biter for everybody to see that he is a keeper. And when garbage time came, he's finally allowed to play the way he how he usually is, like being allowed to create his own shots. That's what I think Tyler needs to let him do. Like let him drive to the basket, let him shoot a mid range and all that. Um, and of course, also notice Bones Highland. He's falling out of rotations. Um, I think Ty Lue is starting to favor Brandon Boston Jr. more, which as a Brandon Boston Jr. fan, I'm pretty happy to see, and I hope he gets um utilized more properly. But those are the minor ones, I guess. But I would love to, but the main one, use Russell Westbrook more properly. Let him run the ball. Like let him like so many times. When Russell Westbrook's on the floor, he gets used off ball so often. You would see Norman Powell taking it, running the point guard. Um you would see so many people other than Russell Westbrook too many times. Too many times. It should be most of the time, like when Russell Westbrook's on the floor, he he should be the one who's taking the ball upon the court. When Russell Westbrook does that, you see the offense just explodes. It just explodes. Um, but anyways, I think this should end this video. Um, Let me know what you think about my opinion. Um, I think Russell Westbrook, he needs to get more minutes. Even he should even start, to be honest with you. And he's getting misused too often. But anyways, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Sorry that I haven't been uploading as often. I know I'm no longer as active on YouTube uh as before, but during playoff time, I'll try to get more active and all that. But anyways, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Peace.